Hello everybody, welcome to another Cook With Me video. Today I'm actually in the middle of doing another recipe video. It's not a Cook With Me video. It's for my chile colorado video. I'm basically stewing pork meat in like guajillo chili sauce. Now, you can serve that with rice, beans, flour tortillas. I'll put links to all those videos in the description. But today I'm going to make some tamales. My mom's here. We wanted to make tamales just to kind of get our tamale season practice on. So I'm going to be doing some tamales with the pork meat that I'm stewing, the chile colorado, and I'm going to be doing bean and cheese. I'm going to try to make it as painless as possible. I know making tamales, it's very time consuming, but I don't know. It brings us together as a family. We enjoy doing it. The weather's cooling off. Okay, let's be honest. I'm in Texas. It's not that cold right now. But, you know, fall is here. We're in the mood to just start making tamales, start practicing. So I'm going to be using some charro beans that I had in the refrigerator. And I'm also going to use some cheese that I have in the refrigerator. Nothing, you know, particular. If you have cheddar cheese, Monterey Jack, mozzarella, string cheese, Oaxaca cheese, just a melty, I don't know, cheese. So I'm going to see what I can dig out of my fridge and just show you how I'm going to put things together. So here we go. Okay, so basically when I purchase these, I'm gonna the brand is, let's see, what is this brand? Leslie brand. They are actually softer than what I'm used to. Sometimes when I go to Fiesta, they are so hard and stiff, I actually boil them. But these are kind of already pliable, and it says to soak for 25 minutes. I'm just gonna let them soak until I'm ready for them, and then you can also put something heavy for them to, you know, I'll do that in a minute. But I'm still separating them. So here they are. They are dry, but as soon as they hit the water, they do kind of get pliable. But anyways, if you have corn husks that are super, super hard, you probably want to give them a rinse, separate them in the sink, and then put them in a pot of boiling water and let them boil for like 30 minutes and then just steep in that hot water for like an hour or so. I remember my grandma used to just let them boil while she's cooking and then turn it off and just let them sit there until she needed them, and they were really soft and pliable. So anyways, I'm just going to continue separating them, soak them, and this is hot water. It's kind of cooling off as I've been separating them, but I'm going to drain out the water and put more hot water, and I'm just going to let them sit here until I need them, probably an hour. I would say an hour. And overnight, if, like I said, if they're super dry and hard, let them soak overnight, you know, or until you need them. But even though it says 25 minutes, I'm probably going to let them go for an hour in the water. And you do want to make sure you give them a good rinse. And sometimes you do find bugs, so, you know, you want to look for that. But anyways, this is 1 pound of leaves. I'm going to try my best to give you guys, you know, measuring what I'm doing, but honestly, this is just, I don't know. I don't want to say this is an exact thing, because again, I do eyeball a lot of things and kind of do things on the fly, and this is what I'm doing today. Okay, so first things first, I am going to melt down my manteca. This is 1 pound of manteca. And let me turn this on. And you know, I'm gonna be honest, guys, when I make tamales, I'm again, some of you, I don't cook with exact measurements. I should. If I'm gonna give you a recipe, I get it, but this is, again, just, my mom's here, we said, let's make tamales. So I just dug up what I had and bought some things. Okay, so, whoops, here goes the manteca. And for those of you, and no, my child's not choking, he's running around. For those of you that don't want to use lard, You could use shortening. You could probably try oil. But, you know, this is just what we do. We use manteca. And again, this is 1 pound container of manteca. So I'm going to melt this down. Okay, so this is melted. And it really doesn't look like a lot, but again, I'm gonna try my best to get a good ratio, just to give you guys a good ratio of like what I'm doing. And my kids are going crazy today. Okay, and here, let's set this aside. Well, you know, isn't that kind of cool? But let me show you the other thing I'll be using. Let's see here. Here, I reserved a cup of this guajillo pepper, dried chili pepper, like puree that I made. And basically, I took probably like 12 guajillo peppers, 1 medium onion, chopped garlic, and some chicken broth, a cup of chicken broth, and I just whirled it all together and pureed it. I didn't sieve it, but you could. But basically, I used that to make my chile colorado, and I reserved this much for my masa. So this is going to go into the masa. Again, this is just basically guajillo peppers, some chicken broth, onion, and garlic. And the chicken broth that I use is basically Knorr chicken broth. I think the ratio is 1 cup of water to 1 teaspoon of the powdered Knorr chicken bouillon base. And I ended up using 1 cup to mix the guajillo peppers. And this is not exact because most of the puree I used in my stewed pork meat that I made in my other recipe, and I'll link that in the video below. But if I were to just do specifically a puree of guajillo peppers, I would do like maybe 5 guajillo peppers, half of a medium onion, a couple cloves of garlic, salt, and half a cup of like chicken broth, and just swirl it and you get your puree. So this is like roughly a cup of puree, maybe a little over, and that's gonna also go into my masa. Okay, so now I'm going to work on my masa, and I am using Maseca. This one says Nixta Masa, but I also have this old bag that looks like this, so I don't know. I thought they were the same, but either way, whether you have this bag or you buy this one, I'm going to use, this is 1 bag. This is 2 kilogram bag, 4.4 pounds of masa. I'm using this whole bag. Again, there might be masa left over. I'm just trying to make several dozens here, and I'll let you know when the whole process is done how many dozens I get out of this. So in goes my bag of masa. I have a feeling I'm going to have masa left over, but I'm not going to let it go to waste. So it's definitely going to need a lot of liquid because it's super dry. Now, if you get the fresh masa preparada from the store, that's a different story. I'll link my other tamale videos in the description below this video, so you can check those out. But anyways, I'm going to season this. I'm definitely going to season this well. And let's see here. So for this whole bag, it's going to take a lot of water. So let me measure that out for you. Okay, so I want to season it. I already got my water. This is a 4.4 pound bag. I'm going to start with like 5 quarts of water. I might not use it all, but you know, it's all about how it feels. But because this Maseca is super dry, it's going to take a lot of moisture. So I am actually, I am going to start with some salt. This is actually kosher salt. If you've got like fine table salt, that works. This is just what I had here. So I'm going with 1 teaspoon, 2, 3, 4. That's of salt. And I do like the nor bouillon, so I'm going to go in with 1 tablespoon of the base, chicken base, and we'll, I don't know, we'll work with that. Let me, just going to give all that a mix. And I think that'll do. Again, guys, this is not me saying, oh, this is authentic tamales. Nope, that's not what I'm saying. This is just me just in the mood to make tamales with my mom, and we're using what we have. So now I'm going to go in with my manteca. That is, just go ahead and put all of that in. That is 1 pound of melted lard. Again, if you don't want to use lard, honestly, oil would probably work. But one thing about the manteca is when the tamale cools, it also kind of gives it a better texture for the masa when it's cooked. So just keep that in mind. If you're using oil, I'm not sure of the measurement. Okay, now I'm also going to go in with my puree of guajillo peppers. Again, I will link the video below. I showed you earlier, basically I boiled a whole bunch of guajillo peppers with onion, garlic, some chicken broth, whirled it in my blender, and had a pure, you know, made a puree. And I reserved a cup from that. The rest of it I used in my chile colorado, the pork stew meat that I made. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in. I'm just gonna start with around 4 quarts of water, maybe 3.5. No, this was more like, I have a big pot, a 5.75 pot of water, and I might not use it all. So I'm gonna just kind of stir things in. And the water I just poured in here was, it started out really hot, but it was kind of sitting there while I was setting up, so it might not be as hot as when I started. But I'm just gonna mix this all together. And then I'll go in with my hands. But right now I'm just trying to eyeball. As you can see, this Maseca totally just drinks up that water. So here I go with some more water. This is hot water, by the way. And we're just gonna mix it up again. And again, clean hands work best, but this is kind of hot. The oil was hot, so I want to give it a chance to sort of cool off before I melt off my skin. And if I do have masa left over, I just freeze it. I certainly do, but I'm actually going to try to create all kinds of tamales with this, savory ones at least. If I run out of beans, I'll use just the cheese. If I actually have a rotisserie chicken, I might even shred that and toss that into some tamales. I don't know. But it already smells good in my house with the stewed pork meat. Oh gosh, it's so loud. With the stewed pork meat and everything. So again, I can already tell, let me take my, I can already tell. Oh, yep. So much for that little. Okay, this is why you use your hands, folks. So as you can see, it's super dry down there. So yep, I'm gonna go for 5 quarts of water, and I might actually even use more. So here we go. Okay, so I have been kneading and mixing this for like 20 minutes, and I think I'm good to go. Basically, what you're looking for, I know it's a hot mess right now. You don't want the masa to stick to your hand. That's the test. So like, see how it's not sticking to my hand? I know you're probably thinking, gross, your hand, they're clean. so the masa presses together and it's not sticking to my hand. And then you kind of want to mix it vigorously the best you can to kind of fluff it up and just make sure everything is mixed. And again, not sticking to my hand. You do this and it doesn't stick. So now I'm going to get the beans, cheese, and my pork mixture ready, and the hojas, the corn husk, and we're ready to make tamales. So I'll be back. Okay, so now I am going to show you what I'm going to do with the beans. This is around 4.5 to 5 cups of charro beans that I made. It was a pot of beans. I had them put up, and I basically drained all the juice. So these are pretty much dry. But even if you have like canned beans, I mean, I won't be mad at you. But anyways, these are all seasoned. They have, actually these don't have bacon in it now I think about it. I think I just did like jalapeno, onion, tomato, some tomato bouillon, garlic, onion, like all that good stuff. I didn't even add cilantro, but basically this is around 4 to 5 cups of beans. No juice. These are drained. So what I'm going to do is just mash them, and it does have a little bit of liquid in it, you know. And if you don't have your charro beans laying around, you didn't make a pot, just use canned beans. I mean, season them the way you like it. People sometimes get caught up on, you know, you got to be authentic and blah, 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 blah. But as much as I try to be authentic, I truly just try to use what I have the best to my ability. And I do appreciate people that keep things authentic. I love when people, you know, kind of go back in history and do it the way it originally was done. I totally appreciate that, but am I truly doing that in my kitchen? No, that's me being honest. I really don't. I just use what I have, and I use and do things the way I like in my home. So anyways, just gonna mash these really well. And actually, no, not really well. They can be kind of chunky if you want it texturally. That might be a nice little surprise in your tamal. But anyways, so yeah. And pretty much I'll show you the cheeses that I'm going to use. Again, use what you have, people. If you want to get fancy, if you want to just do what, you know, do what you like. I have a block of mozzarella cheese. See, this is good. This is good. So here are my mashed beans. This is the filling I'm using. And these are well seasoned. So if you're using plain pinto beans from a can and you drain them, season them with the seasoning of your choice. But these are already, again, seasoned. I boiled these. I had these in the fridge. So okay, here are my beans. Again, this was around 4 to 5 cups of beans, drained, no liquid. And here's the cheese I'm using. I have some string cheese that we'll be cutting these. These are like 5 individually wrapped string cheeses, and I have a block of low moisture, part skim mozzarella. I'm also just, it's not going to be exact. We're going to see if we can, you know, see how many dozens we can get out of this cheese and the beans that I mash again. And also, let me show you. This is still sort of hot. This is the chile colorado pork stew meat that I made. This is also going, and I'm keeping it in chunks. You can shred it up. I normally like to do a pork roast in a crock pot with seasonings and just shred it up and add some, you know, pureed chile to it. But I made this recipe. I'll put the link to this recipe in the description below. I'm also going to use this for tamales today. So let's get everything set up, and I will meet you back at the table. Okay guys, so we are here. We have our stations kind of set up. It's going to go like an assembly line. Again, to recap, we are going to be filling this with stewed pork meat. It's chile colorado that I made. I'll put the description in the description below. I will put the video link. I also had some charro beans in the fridge. I drained all the liquid, mashed it. I'm also going to be doing string cheese, and I have a block of mozzarella cheese. We're doing bean and cheese, my favorite. I have my hojas that were soaked already. The masa's ready. So I'm going to show you how we kind of spread the masa. Again, this is not authentic. We're just trying to do some tamales because we were hungry. We had some things to use and make. We're excited. It's fall, so why not? Here we go. Okay, so my mom already started by making these. So let's see, Mom, hold on. So on your corn husk, these are soaked, by the way, they're very pliable. There is a smooth side and there is a rough side. You want to spread this, actually this feels smoother. You want to spread this on the smooth side of the corn husk because obviously it's smooth. It'll spread a lot more evenly. Why is this out of focus? Sorry. Oh, there it goes. So anyways, you want to do it on the smooth side. My mom's going to show you how she does it. She's not a professional, guys.
It goes on the palm of your hand as
Yeah.
much as you can hug it. You get a
Okay.
dot on the wheel. Just
Yeah, and this is like a tablespoon. She did a heaping tablespoon and she's just kind of turning it and spreading it. And see how easily the masa is spreading? That is a good sign that it has good moisture. And this is Maseca. So if your masa is like running all over the place and it's not evenly like spread, that means it's getting too dry. Actually, see this little part, how it cracked? That's actually, we need to go over that. That means that maybe the top part of this masa is getting a little too dry. And if that's the case with your masa, it's not spreading very well, then just add a little more hot water, maybe a cup, mix it. You want to mix it again and then start. So that's what we're doing. We're going to continue doing this and I'm going to show you how I fill it. So here's my string cheese and I don't know, I'm just going to do that. Cut it in half. I mean, you might think cut it long ways and then in half. I like cheese. I'm sorry, guys. So I'm going to cut these in half and then when these are done, I'll go and start cutting. So here is, okay, so here it is. I'm going to take, let's see, I know guys, this is kind of like on the fly here. I'm going to take a spoon and put it, and this is an awkward angle, but I want to show you. I'm going to put it right there and just kind of spread this out just a little bit here in the middle. You don't want to take it all the way to the edge. So that was like probably 2 tablespoons if I had to guess. It was a heaping spoon of this. And then right here in the middle, the cheese. And then you're going to fold it over just like that. Fold it over and then like that. You can get all fancy schmancy and maybe do those cute little ties. We don't do that. We just lay it like just like that. And this is my bean and cheese. So I don't know. It's pretty simple. And then I'm going to just lay it right here in this tub for now. This is just a big tub. We're going to stack them and then I'll show you how we steam them. So I'm just going to continue doing that. I'll show you guys another one. So, okay, so you take one of these. My mom's spreading the masa. This is probably like 2 tablespoons, a tablespoon and a half of the beans. And I'm just going to kind of do it like this. I'm not taking it all the way to the edge at the top. And then this is half of string cheese. And we're going over. And you can, I actually prefer them a little bit smaller. My mom likes them bigger. I'm not going to complain because she's helping me today. So here's the back end. And you want to fold it up. And there it is. And then I'm going to show you how I do the pork ones. Let me move the string cheese over. So just a spoonful maybe. I'm going to put another chunk in here. And I actually want some more of this juice here. A little bit more meat. And then this one's going to go over. We're folding it. And again, you don't want to take it to the top. Because if you do, it'll start spilling out too much. I mean, it will spill out because it's, you know, has sauce on it. And then I'm going to fold this up just like that. Okay guys, so here's where we're at. So we're almost done with this masa. And I haven't counted how many dozens, but this is beans and again the pork, the chile colorado pork stew that I made. And after using all the pork, there was a whole bunch of sauce left. So I had a rotisserie chicken. This is about 1.5 pounds of just shredded rotisserie chicken that I'm mixing in with the rest of that stew sauce. And I'm just going to mix it up, and this is what we're going to fill the rest of the tamales with. Okay, so here's what we are left with after using pretty much close to 1 pound, because some of the leaves, the corn husks, were not usable, so we're going to use it to top it off. But probably like 1/3. We used maybe more than 2/3 of the masa. So I'm just going to scoop all this up. I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag and I'm going to freeze it. Okay, so here's the leftover masa. Let me close it here. I'm just going to put this in the freezer, and when I need it again, I can mix it into more masa or just use this little bit. Okay, here is the tamale pot, and this, let me see, does it have, I don't know how many quarts this is. I bought it a long time ago. It's a large pot. Let me see, just to kind of fills in my sink. I wish I could tell you guys how many it is. I'll have to see if I have somewhere that tells me. But anyways, I'm gonna fill just the bottom with water. Normally these steamer pots have like a line, and then it comes with this, so I'm gonna put that right at the bottom. And you don't want the water to come out of the hole, so I'm pretty much just right there. And then I'm gonna start stacking the tamales in here. Okay guys, so now we're going to start stacking the tamales. We start with just a little bowl. This is just a little stone bowl that I use for steamed egg, and we're just going to do the little teepee stack around the bowl. I remember sometimes we used to do like a ball of aluminum foil. There you go, Mom. I'm going to actually put this on low. It's not going to be burning all the stack up. So we're just going to keep stacking the tamales. Okay guys, so I have basically, this is like how big the pot is, and I don't remember how many quarts this is. I know. I'm going to see if I have it in my other video, if I can remember, because I've had this pot for a little while. But I pretty much stacked as many as I could in there. I didn't count how many dozens. When they're done, I will count them for you. And I made them larger. Normally I can stuff more in there, but my mom likes the tamales a bit bigger. I like them small and petite. That's my preference. But anyway, so this is around, I don't know, 3 dozen in here. So now what we're going to do is use the discarded corn husk leaves and just place them right on top, just to kind of cover it. We're not going to mash it. And by the way, I've already turned on to start, creating steam in there. Hopefully the water will boil, and then we're going to cover it. Well, we're going to cover it even before it starts to boil. And I remember an old trick. You put a penny at the bottom of the pot so you can hear the water boiling. But all I do is I let it boil, and around 45 minutes, I kind of pour like water, find a spot, and I'll pour a little cup of water or some water down the side of the pot just to keep it going if I feel like it needs water. But I am going to let this pot cook for somewhere like an hour to an hour and a half. I'll be checking it a little over an hour to see if they are done. And after they are done, I didn't mention this in my other videos. I always miss information when I'm doing these videos. You want to let them set probably for like 30 minutes before serving, because that also helps the masa set up once it's cooked. Okay, so now we put the hojas, and here we go. We have the corn husk on. Now we're going to put, this is just a damp cloth, and we're going to just put it right on top. And now we're going to add the lid, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to let that go for about an hour to an hour and a half, and we'll check it. And now here's what I'm left with. I'm going to put these in another pot and cook these. These are my bean and cheese, and then the chicken, some of the chicken. Okay guys, so I can hear it. It's kind of like, I can tell that the water's like sizzling at the bottom, which is a good sign that it needs more water. So I'm adding 2 cups of hot water, just drizzling it on the side, just to make sure that there's water. And these have been cooking for about 45 minutes. I'm gonna let them go for like another 45, maybe 30, something like that. This one's steaming away again. So the way you can tell that these will need water is, if you obviously you can hear it kind of boiling, but when it starts to sizzle, that means condensation is hitting the bottom of this pan, and if it's sizzling, that means it's getting dry down there, or it is dry, so you need to add more water. I just poured 2 cups of hot water down the side. You don't want to pour it on top, but on down the side. And that was around, like, it's been 45 minutes that it's been boiling. So I'm gonna let this go for like another 30, you know, an hour and 10 minutes in total, and then I'll check one. This has been cooking. This has been cooking for over an hour. As you can see, it's too mushy. It looks good, but it's still mushy. Okay guys, so the large pot ended up cooking for around an hour and a half, maybe closer to an hour 45 minutes. Obviously, because I counted, there were basically almost 6 dozen in that pot. I was way off when I said 3 something. So there were, like, let me show you right here. So this came out of the large pot, and this is basically 5.5, and they've already tried 2, and I have 4 here. So pretty much almost 6 dozen fit in that large, in that large pot. Let me get this squared away here. Now I'm going to show you, let's move this here. So now I want to show you how easily, these are the chile colorado, the pork stew tamales, and I let them set for like, oh well, you can't help that that's gonna break off because it's stuck on here, but look at that. And I'm gonna cut into this. So this is pretty much what you're looking for. It came off easily from out of the husk. Let me wipe this thumbnail. So this came out easily out of the husk, and I'm gonna go right down the center. And these were the chunks of meat. So as you can see, it's a tender tamal. This is a tender tamal, and the meat even gets more tender. And of course it has a lot of I like to put the sauce, so of course this has, it's very saucy tamal, but yeah, super delicious. Now I'm going to show you the bean and cheese one. So let's move this over here. And I'm still making tamales. So here's the bean. Some of these corn husks, you'll find they're hard and wrinkly, but you know, we use them. We are not tossing them out. So actually this one kind of was super long, so I don't want it. See, it'll come out. And then here's the bean and cheese. Gonna cut that in half so you guys can see. And there's so many ways to make tamales. And these are just a couple ways. I wonder if it'll... So here's the string cheese. And this was actually... Oh, it's pulling apart. String cheese. But pretty much I can't really eat this right now. It's late. And I'm not supposed to. But just kind of give you an idea. The longer these set, they'll get a little bit more set and stiffer. But I actually like this texture. It's soft. It's chewy. So yeah, that's the bean and cheese. Okay, everybody, so pretty much everybody kind of gave out on me. It's late. I have some packed here, but before I let you go, I just wanted to say I put a lot of information in the description below this video. I also wanted to say this large pot right here, it took close to an hour and 45 minutes to be done. And I just want to hit you with some variables. I can't give you an accurate amount of dozens that you're going to get out of one bag of Maseca. For one, I had some left over. But a good ratio is that 4.4 pound bag of Maseca, probably somewhere between 5 to 6 pounds of filling, meaning meat, beans, cheese, you know, whatever your choice is. I think that's probably a good ratio. I will also say, depending how tightly you pack your pots, depends on how they are going to cook. The smaller pots took an hour, a little over an hour, but the larger one, I packed it a little bit tightly. I actually was able, into this large pot, I packed, yeah, like 6 dozen in there. Ultimately, everything we made today gave me around 10 dozen of tamales. So those ratios will change depending how thick you like your masa, if you like it thin, how much filling you put. So, you know, I can't give you an exact, you know, what you'll get out of the bag of Maseca or your filling, but I think those are good places to start. And also, again, it's kind of, it just depends your preference of when you're making your tamal. If you like the masa thick or thin, things like that will change. And it also depends how high your heat was. I was using pretty much a low to medium heat to simmer and steam the tamales. So if you've got a raging boil going, you're going to have to add more water frequently, and it might cook it a little faster. Like I said, those are just different variables that will change the cook time. So just keep that in mind. But anyways, I'm going to finish cleaning the kitchen all by myself. Thanks, Ma. But anyways, it's fall. I just wanted to make tamales for my family. So, again, I'm going to do a disclaimer. These are not authentic. I just like to use some of the techniques that my family has done for many generations, and I kind of just do what's convenient for me in my home. So I hope you found it helpful. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.